This screenshot from Futurama represents the problem intrinsic to the notion of dominion, and the delusion, offered as a reach around by many circle jerks, that you can claim for yourself, your group, your tribe, your nation, your race, even your species, exclusive, exceptional, freedom from the universal law of karma. That the world will always be the representation of your will, and thus as you will for others, so shall be done unto you, and yours. My optimal ethics generator forces you to face this fact, and reform your will, so that you would be happy for it to become the role model for the wills of all other earthlings, and sentient beings, who might otherwise see you as the target of their predation, enslavement, and exploitation. The polar bear represents the elites and anyone with power over you, whether you realize it or not. They have the will, and power, to treat you as a mere means to their ends. The seal represents those you have power over, and treat as mere means to your ends. Complaining when you become the victim of your own willing of dominion makes you a hypocrite, and cannot save you from being enslaved, exploited, and killed, as you are hoisted by your own petard. This is the universal law of karma. There is no escape from it, other than to reform your will. Go Vejan! Will truth, honesty, and justice, for all earthlings, and all sentient life forms. If you were sure your fate was to be continually randomly new incarnated after each life, as any earthling, human or animal, male or female, black or white or Asian, rich or poor, smart or dumb, talented or otherwise, what changes would you insist on making to the way we treat each other, and other earthlings? Answer honestly. Your eternal fate may depend upon brutal, ruthless honesty. This is my optimal ethics generator based on John Rawls' That True Moral Genius, Veil of Ignorance. The OOP superclass, the lowest common denominator, the ideological source, for all our social, economic, political, and spiritual problems. It is the ideology of exclusive, exceptional, entitlements, and benefits, which other earthlings are tricked or forced into slavery of various kinds, to pay the costs of, and endure misery, pain, torture, and death, to produce. It is the idea of dominion, which groups of humans claim in the name of a god they created in their own image. This is how the world as the representation of our collective wills, paraphrasing Schopenhauer, works. You will that other sentient beings be used in alleged medical experiments. You and your loved ones become the subjects of medical experiments. A.K.A RNA gene therapy. A.K.A vaxing. For as you do unto others, so shall be done unto you, Obadiah. Your own actions will become the universal model for all other beings' actions, paraphrasing Kant. You will that sentient beings be tricked and or forced into slavery, to become mere means to your ends, to suffer and pay for exclusive exceptional benefits you define yourself as entitled to. You are tricked and or forced into slavery, as means to others' ends, and suffer and pay for exclusive exceptional benefits others feel entitled to. I will now begin focusing exclusively on attempting to cure the patients, rather than merely relieving them of their symptoms, of what is hurting them. Often they need to suffer the painful symptoms, for they are valuable and necessary feedback that they need to change something in their lives, with the pain offering the motivation to make those, often difficult, often uncomfortable, changes. Even sacrifices. I have behaved like a naive, ignorant, innocent fool my entire life. In that I always sought to express and articulate my thoughts and feelings, to give people a chance to understand me, and to explain themselves, so that we might understand each other, and seek optimal solutions to any problems, or take advantage of any opportunities, as a collaborative team. You might call this a Socratic approach, collaborative dialogue, or even an Elon chess. But one of the most dangerous things you can do is actually take the risk of exposing your thoughts and feelings to others, and thus exposing yourself to their reaction, and to them using what you say against you. An Arab saying warns, a secret kept is an ally, a secret shared is an adversary. It is an easily demonstrable fact, that even imagining expressing your thoughts and feelings publicly, even in private to just one other person, will raise your blood pressure as if you were facing a predator or some other threat to your life. One reason I overheat when making videos. Why I usually do not wear a shirt. To avoid overheating. Anytime you expose your thoughts, or feelings, you take a huge risk. The philosopher who wishes to share their insights and observations takes the same risks Plato's Socrates, and the New Testament's Jesus, take, in those narratives, and is likely to suffer a similar fate, at the hands of even their closest family and friends, let alone peers, let alone their wider society. Most people understand this intuitively, or learn by the example of their most significant others. They keep their thoughts and feelings private. They do not take the risk of sharing them with anyone. They pretend to communicate, but they really share nothing that is real. They offer what they believe their interlocutors want from them. They wear masks to hide their authentic feelings and thoughts from the world. They numb these feelings with whatever drugs or other activities are available to them. For some this takes the form of sex. For others work and money and material goods and material success. Some seek relief in cults, whether secular, or religious. The repressed feelings and thoughts are expressed not consciously and not verbally in a wide range of documented neuroses. This is the body-mind expressing thoughts and feelings indirectly. Often the repressed thoughts and feelings are expressed somatically, as physiological symptoms, as disease, as illness, including physical ailments, and psychological and psychiatric conditions. Living in terror of having our authentic selves exposed, we find that wearing masks and pretending to have thoughts and feelings we do not have, while repressing the thoughts and feelings we do have, is not enough to relieve our terror of exposure. So we attempt to direct attention away from ourselves, onto others, in our interactions. To turn the spotlight on others. When Sir Francis Bacon's Shakespeare writing team wrote "Methinks she doth protest too much," they were ascribing this strategy to the character. Be warned. Never say to a group, "Let he who is innocent cast the first stone." For they will all recognize this opportunity to virtue signal by being the first to cast a stone, as if to prove their innocence. That is the worst sort of provocation. For the easiest way to direct attention away from yourself, is to find a different target for the collective self-loathing of your social group, and society. To project the thoughts and feelings you feel dangerous to your survival and worldly success, and which you therefore, as a defense strategy, repress and disown, onto others. This way you virtue signal your disassociation from those dangerous thoughts and feelings, the ones you fear, or understand, are unacceptable to your family, friends, social group, work group, community, and society. While also offering those same people an alternative target. For them to do the same. If I had children, I would be sure to ensure they understood these things. But I cannot imagine living under such conditions. So I would never have children. I lately realized that someone failed to explain all this to me as a child. I was neglected almost totally, other than the very basic needs for calories, not necessarily nutrition and shelter and the simplest, used, clothing. And I really needed warning. Anyone could see my nature was to speak my mind. To seek the truth. To try to find out why it was that I was not wanted, let alone loved, I guess, at one level. And why I was poor, as well. And why the world was the shitty place it was. And why people were so shitty to each other. In the hope of correcting these things. For some reason confident in my competence to do so. While everyone around me appeared completely incompetent. I have suffered at every level of my life, from my willingness to expose my thoughts and feelings, in a constructive, generative, manner. I exposed myself to becoming a target. I was my authentic self, while others waged war by deception upon each other, and myself. Given that everyone else was playing the game, that left me as the exposed individual target for everyone else. The easiest target for venting and projecting and virtue signaling. These behaviors seek the easiest path for expression. Like voltages seeking the path of least resistance to earth ground. The things I need to express, for my personal, and for our collective health and well-being, are things most people do not want to hear expressed. Some of them have even been criminalist and medicalist. As crimes. As symptoms of mental illness. At very least as indicators of poor character. Untrustworthiness. Disloyalty. Not a team player. Not a collaborator. Not a participant in the circle jerk. Not only refusing to reach around, but exposing the circle jerk for the group masturbation activity that it was. I was the person in the crowd pointing out the emperor is naked. And then pointing out that the people around me, also, were equally naked. As a figure of speech. For in fact they were all wearing masks and other costumes to hide their authentic selves. But I saw through these disguises. I saw they were naked. In the deepest sense of Adam and Eve's shame at having their true selves and their actions exposed to view. I will continue expressing the most important things I have to say. To expose the most important things that need to be exposed. While refraining from exposing criminal conspiracies which have successfully conspired to gain legal and political protection from such exposure. I do this not out of cowardice or selfishness or a desire for worldly success and satisfaction. But simply because, by attempting to expose those criminal conspiracies with legal protection, I suffer complete censorship, and lose any opportunity for exposing the basic, fundamental, problems in human nature, in our collective behavior, that lie at the root of those criminal conspiracies. Those ways of thinking, and acting, that the criminal conspiracies are the symptoms of. I would lose any chance at eradicating the disease itself, if I continued to try to alleviate the symptoms of it. Like masking the pain of some condition, so that the sufferer never addresses the etiology, cause in popular language usage, of those symptoms. The painkillers prevent people addressing the source of the pain. And thus attempting, let alone achieving, a cure of the disease itself. I must sacrifice the expression of some things, in order to have a chance at expressing anything at all. I have been censored worldwide. I have been banned from most platforms. And even censored here on BitChute. So that I have lost my voice. Completely. And the only way to have any chance at all of regaining a platform, and a voice, to do any good at all, is to avoid those topics the criminal conspiracies have succeeded in gaining legal protection for. Non-disclosure agreements for those for whom it has been made a taboo, to attempt to expose. So that it has become a crime to attempt to expose them. And any such attempts swiftly lead to the withholding of acceptance and approval, of love, of employment, of social interaction, and ultimately excommunication and even exile. So that I am denied any meaningful participation in my society. This is effectively a death sentence. One which offers the collective a cheap and easy target to vent their self-loathing upon, to project their own disowned thoughts and feelings onto, and to virtue signal, in the most satisfying manner. Namely in the form of hate. What follows is the transcript of what got me started writing this piece this morning. It will be of practical value to anyone ever questioned by police in the USA. If you are American, or there for any reason, and police ask you questions about anything, consider this model script. Police ask you a question. You respond, "Does the law compel me to answer this question?" Police ramble on about how it would help them, and help you. They have lots of reasonable sounding points in favor of you answering their questions. Most of all, it will get them out of your hair, so you can be on your way. You respond, "Are you arresting me?" Police state no. You tell them you are going to avail yourself of the Fifth Amendment. Police try to argue with you, or suggest you must have something to hide. You ask them if they know who the chief prosecutor at the Nuremberg show trials was. Police have no idea, and try to change the subject. You remind the police that the chief prosecutor at the Nuremberg show trials, when Attorney General of the United States of America, advised anyone stopped and questioned by police to take the Fifth and say nothing, without their legal representative there to advise them, and stop them saying anything not required by law. Ask them if they would take the legal advice of a U.S. Attorney General, or that of a police officer. The legal prosecution of Purdue Pharmaceutical was based on a Purdue Pharma representative giving false testimony in congressional hearings. They were idiots. This representative said something that the prosecution could prove was not true. That was the basis of the entire prosecution. Without it, the U.S. Attorney General would not have had any legal case to prosecute. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Take this literally. They are warning you they will abuse anything you say against you, to form a legal case to prosecute in the first place, and to convict you of something in the second. Humans have a million reasons for wanting to harm you, that they are in denial about. Prosecutors win and succeed by finding, prosecuting, and convicting people. They seek people to harm, often non-consciously. Like the black woman who had it in for Purdue. Attorney generals seek people to prosecute and to convict. That is the definition of success for them. A healer defines success as healing. A doctor defines success as earning more money. A lawyer defines success as earning more money, which they get from convicting, if prosecutors, or freeing, if defense attorneys. There may be exceptions, but you should not be gambling your health or freedom on a lucky chance interaction with such exceptions. In other countries they warn you that if you fail to tell them something that later comes out in court, it will work against you. Marcus Heinrich Rebuck. Estonia, October 2, 2023.
True net null. True net null. True net null. The realities of our natures and the natures of our realities. True net null. The realities of our natures and the natures of our realities.
they'll be coming in the night for you. So what are you will you fight to remain there after the breeze is still the home of the brave? Will you hold the flame of liberty high in the light in the world's dark night? Will you arrest all those by whom you've been betrayed? Take back your power from those by whom you've been enslaved? You'll have to be slow, brave, brave, brave. Someone will have to be so, so brave, brave, brave. Someone will have to be so, so brave. America, America, what do you want for a legacy? Shining street, shining street. This could be the land of the free, if this is still the home of the brave. Why do they call it our government when they do whatever they want to? Lie to the people, kill the people. What can the people do? They choose who you get to vote for. Democratic as any tyranny that ever came before. But now that you believe that you are free, they've achieved the ultimate in slavery. Living in a constructed fantasy, carefully choreographed social reality. Propaganda taught as history. Total deception is the rule you see. They'll lie even when they don't have to, just to obfuscate and confuse you, till you give up trying to see through all the lies that they've been telling you. Das Beste, dass du wissen kannst, dass du den Böden doch nicht schlagen. You'll go to prison and what's worse, no one will have been listening. Apathy is the ultimate in mind control. Mindless sheeple doing whatever they are told. If you see no way of knowing what's really true, you let others do most of your thinking for you. Homo Fideo, such a naive, easy mark. It's not the tail wagging the dog, but the mere bark. Hearsay is the foundation of all their beliefs, spreading fear and soul salvation for their relief. Yeah, yeah, sure, everything is dandy, but what are you gonna do? Histories, whatever lie we're told today, you can't predict what will happen yesterday, 'cause they revise everything as they go along. Soon they'll revise even the meaning of this song. But of course they'll deny they've ever changed a thing. Only conspiracy nuts would suggest such a thing. Yeah, sure, there's so much more, but hey, what are we gonna do?